Living in servile and submissive conditions is nothing new in India. There were the Mughals for some 3 centuries, then the British for some 2 centuries. Now we have slave-driving corporates. India has the largest cohort of millennials in the whole world, those born between 1981 and 1996. 400 million of them. That's more than the entire populations of all countries except 2, India and China. Any nation with so many youth would be licking its lips over the demographic dividend to be tapped. The oldest of India's 400 million millennials are in mid-career, aged 44 years, and the youngest are in early career at 29 years. Given their economically strategic role in the country's development, one would think they are treated as the nation's darlings. The reality is anything but. India's youth have inherited a country with overcrowded public transport, corruption, pollution, high-handedness of government officials and policemen, unlivability, joblessness, poor quality of education, and now slave-driving CEOs who want them to work 70 hours and 90 hours a week. To understand how they feel, one should look at the scenario from the shoes of India's youth. When the oldest of India's millennials were born in 1981, we imagined India would be a developed country by 2000. In 2000, we shifted that goalpost to 2020. And when that time also elapsed, we've shifted it a good 27 years to 2047. That will be when India's oldest millennials will be 66 years. Just who would be enthused by a promise that you'll do well in life after you turn 66 years? On top of the shifting goalposts to prosperity, we have AI to reckon with. Investor and founder of AI company G-Quant, Shankar Sharma, warned recently, AI will crush India's demographic dividend to demographic debt. To illustrate his point, Shankar Sharma says, AI today is like Jasprit Bumrah in his IPL debut season of 2013. It's going to get far better very fast. Shankar Sharma says, already we know the job market is bad. If IIT students don't get jobs, the danger is clear and present. Worse, there are large numbers who work and are not paid for it. The Economic Survey of 2024 revealed, and the Economic Times reported, India has 18.3% unpaid workers, 57.3% of total workforce self-employed. Meaning, the vast majority of India's 565 million workforce somehow get along on their own. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said this week, youth power will make India a developed nation. That target is 2047, 22 years away. And CEOs tell them to work 70 to 90 hours a week. India's youth know their options. Working 70 to 90 hours a week over the next 22 years to realize the dream of living in a developed country, or migrate to a developed country today. As youth say today, YOLO, you only live once. Former IAS officer Avesh Shukla has commented that these corporate honchos are representatives of the new East India Company that now rules this sorry nation. Exploitative slave drivers and profit seekers to the core. The L&T chairman asked his staff why they wanted to be at home on Sundays and stare at their wives. What many Indian CEOs don't realize is that numerous Indians do not even have a wife to even lovingly look at, forget staring, because their pay is so low it isn't sufficient to set up family. Desperate Indian youth who have no jobs or are not paid for their work or are skewered at their workplaces by their bosses are willing to go even to strife-torn places in the world to work. Last year, thousands of workers from Uttar Pradesh to Telangana queued up for construction jobs in Israel. Those even more desperate are soldiering on the Russia-Ukraine war front. This week, the Ministry of External Affairs said that at least 12 Indians have been killed in the Russia-Ukraine war, and that 16 others have gone missing. These young men weren't staring at their wives. They were staring at a hopeless future at home and chose to face Ukrainian bullets and bombings, risking their lives for a livelihood. Amid all that gloom, if there's one spot of sunshine, that is the L&T staff who had the guts to ask the chairman why employees had to work 6 days a week. And the biggest disappointment is not seeing any report about any of the independent directors grilling the chairman for his insensitive remarks, which have not affected just his company but caused a reputational crisis for India's corporate sector. Seems like when chairmen and CEOs talk nonsense, other board members just sit there staring at the ceiling. Before I sign off, let me share this touching tale of a teenager. Unknown to many Indian CEOs who earn in millions, there are numerous Indians who gallantly struggle their way to support their families. Like S. Akin, a 17-year-old Kuchipudi dancer from Venyaramud near Thiruvananthapuram. After his parents separated, the onus of taking care of his grandmother and two sisters fell on Akin's shoulders. He does that running 2 dance schools while pursuing his studies. At the Kerala State School Youth Festival last week, Akin got an A grade in Kuchipudi. No staring at anyone, just taking the challenges of life in his stride.